Auburn wins against Baylor 38-24. It's the final. This was a must-win game for Hugh Freeze to start his third season at Auburn. There are not too many coaches that are under more pressure than what Hugh Freeze currently is under this year. He has to win what feels like at least 7 games to survive for a 4th season. And this was a pop quiz for the bigger exam that Auburn has coming up in the next 3 weeks when they have a tough 3-game stretch against Oklahoma, Texas A&M, and Georgia. How they looked in this game against Baylor was going to go a long way to the confidence you're going to have about the success that this season could possibly be. And I felt you should be ecstatic if you're an Auburn fan. Defensively, the defense has a lot to improve on. But offensively, which was the bigger question that you had in this game coming in, that was answered with flying colors. This was not really a pretty performance from a box score standpoint out of Auburn's offense. It wasn't flashy. They just went to old reliable, which was the ground game. Jackson Arnold, he made his debut starting for Auburn at quarterback, and his legs were a huge reason why Auburn's offense dominated the way that they did. He had 137 yards and no turnovers. Big question about Jackson Arnold. How well can he take care of the football? Against Oklahoma, when everything went wrong for him, turnovers were at the forefront of it. And it's funny how the best game that Jackson Arnold had at Oklahoma was against Alabama late during the season. They won that game with how good Jackson Arnold was on the ground running the ball. And I'm not just talking about scrambling on passing plays. I'm talking about actually using Jackson Arnold to run the football on design quarterback runs. That's when Oklahoma somewhat has some success with Jackson Arnold. Auburn, they took that same recipe that led Jackson Arnold to having the best game of the season last year against Alabama, and they used that blueprint in this game against Baylor. There was a lot of creativity with Jackson Arnold on the ground. Hugh Freeze had quarterback counters, quarterback draws, zone reads, power runs, QB power, you name it. Any kind of quarterback run that you can think of, Auburn ran with Hugh Freeze in this game. Now, is this sustainable for Auburn this season? Can they win games with Jackson Arnold going 12 of 23 passing, 123 yards through the air, but 127 rushing yards and 2 rushing touchdowns? Can this level of quarterback play, being run first, pass second, win you 8-9 games potentially this year? We'll see. This is one of the best offensive lines that Auburn has had in over a decade in terms of just pure talent. And those big boys, they were working against Baylor's defensive line. But how much of this was just the talent advantage that the SEC teams have over teams playing in a non-Power 2 conferences? And how good is this offensive line going to look when you end up going up against a Oklahoma, A&M, a Georgia defensive line? What we learned from Auburn and this win over Baylor is that they're a competent offense. They know what they want to be this year, which is a run-first team. Get Jackson Arnold going with his legs. We only are going to throw the football when we have to. Our offensive line is going to be able to move guys around to create those opportunities to have success rushing the football. But if Auburn has to win throwing the ball, if they end up getting into a hole early and they have to come back from behind, can Jackson Arnold's arm get that done?